Folks,
Good
welcome
evening,
to Corporate
everybody.
Racecourse. My name's Bill. I'm here with the Astronomical Society of
You can't see
Victoria.
me right now, but you can see
And we're doing
Neil.
a little live stream of our view of Jupiter and Saturn through my telescope.
Neil's talking over me.
Oh, hello, Mark. You was told I was live, so I thought I'd go ahead with it.
So Neil is going to run us through a few things on...
So we're looking through my scope at the moment, and we've got it set up to point to Jupiter and Saturn, and they're the two big bright lights here. But at the moment, I've got the exposure set so that we can see the moons. So we've got the moons of Jupiter here all strung out in a row, and we've got from the top right here, we've got Io, then we've got Jupiter, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto.
Now, Neil,
yes,
what's the one to the left there that I can see above Saturn?
So above Saturn, we can actually see two of Saturn's moons. We've got Titan here, and just down here, this little faint little one, is Rhea. R-E-H-A, is it? I forget how it's spelled. R-H-E-A, Rhea. And Titan is interesting because it is the biggest moon in the solar system. It is actually bigger than the planet Mercury.
There you go. Interesting fact, guys.
So let's turn down the exposure a little bit so we can see the planets themselves a little better, because we have to expose differently for the planets than for the moons. Now, Jupiter is brighter than Saturn, so we'll stop part way and we'll go in to zoom in on Saturn first. So I'm going to turn on my crosshairs just so that I can center Saturn on those. And that way when I zoom in, it'll be zooming in on Saturn specifically.
Now, what equipment are we using?
So I am using an 8-inch f4 Newtonian reflecting telescope on an EQ6 equatorial mount with an ASI 1600 color cooled camera. So if you know what that means, then
doesn't mean anything to me.
It means you spend a lot of money.
So someone's just yelled out. It means he spent a lot of money, and it's very true, he did.
However, I have budgeted things, and I've got a few of these things secondhand. I got started with this telescope and everything I needed to get my first few astrophotos with my digital SLR for $1,800 secondhand.
There you go. See, there you go. It's not too expensive to get involved in this.
So we've got Saturn here, and it's looking very bubbly, wibbly wobbly at the moment. That's because it's relatively low on the horizon, and we're looking through a lot of atmosphere, and that atmosphere churns things up, and so the view of Saturn becomes churned up as well. But you can clearly see the rings. This is probably similar to the view that the early astronomers had through their little telescopes. Huygens, I think it was the first to sort of discover that they're actual rings. Galileo described the planet as looking like it had ears, which I think you can see that they look a bit like ears, don't they?
It does, and for those cricket fans out there, it looks a little bit like Gilchrist's ears, doesn't it?
I was thinking Prince Charles, maybe.
Oh. I'm not a monarchist, so...
Neither am I, which is why I like poking fun at them. All right, let's go over to Jupiter now. Oh, other way.
Wrong way, Neil, come on.
Oh, man. Everything's upside down back to front when you're talking about mirror telescopes and equatorial guiding and stuff like that. Yeah. My astrophotographer buddies will know what I'm talking about.
They will, yeah.
All right, so we'll turn off the crosshairs again. And we'll zoom in on that. So let's go to 300%.
So, Neil, while we've got you talking about this,
yep.
Can you tell everyone watching here and on the live stream what's so special about what's happening tonight? Well, what's happening on Monday night, but we're looking at tonight.
Yeah, well, Jupiter and Saturn, they orbit the sun just like the Earth does, but they take a lot longer to go around. Jupiter, I think, is 12 years. Saturn's about 20-something years. And so from our perspective on Earth, because the planets all orbit in a similar plane, there comes a time when the two orbits of Jupiter and Saturn line up from our perspective as Jupiter overtakes Saturn. But because their orbits are so long, that only happens every 20 or so years. However, this is the closest they've ever come in 400 years. And that 400 years time ago, they were very close to the sun. So it was probably too difficult to see them, too difficult to observe them. So the last time they came this close where they were actually observable was in the Middle Ages, in medieval times.
I don't think they were concerned with looking at...
Oh, they were very concerned with looking at stars, but they were looking at them along with sheep's entrails and tea leaves and trying to divine the future. Unfortunately, they didn't get much luck out of that.
No, they didn't. So now we're on Jupiter.
That's right. Now, unfortunately, Jupiter is very blurry at the moment, again, because it's very low to the horizon. Usually across this angle here, you can see some parallel bands of cloud. So they're the equatorial cloud bands of Jupiter. But unfortunately, the atmosphere is too thick because it's low on the horizon to see that. While you're here, Mark, would you like me to pop over and have a look at the moon?
Yeah, why not? Let's go. Let's
All right, we can do that.
Moon. We've done a little bit of conjunction.
Now in the background, I'm loading up my telescope control software. You won't be able to see that on the stream, but we'll be back on the view of the moon very shortly while my telescope tracks across the sky. Okay, it should be getting pretty close now. All right, it looks like the moon has drifted relative to my normal position.
It has, yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll go to my finder scope, and that's got a wider field of view, and that'll help me find the moon. And there it is in the top corner there. So the reason why it wasn't perfectly aligned is because I set this telescope up during the daytime.
Yep.
And that means I didn't get the opportunity to do the proper alignment that I would normally do.
Which would be 2 stars?
Well, I would do a polar alignment, which I'd use my pole camera for.
Oh, see, I'm thinking my dodgy telescope, that's why. I keep forgetting you've got the fancy stuff.
So what we're looking at here is the view from my guide scope, which is a little telescope that piggybacks on the back of my main one, and that has a wider field of view. So now I'm going to swap back over to my main astrophotography camera, and that should have the moon, in the field of view. So that's overexposed.
There you go. How good's the moon? It's very bright tonight.
Okay, it must be just out of the field of view. So let's pan around and find it.
That's the brightest view of the moon I've seen, that one.
Oh, really? You must not looked at it through the 26-inch.
Oh, no, I've actually looked through it through the 40-inch.
Well, that would be brighter. I would imagine.
That was very bright, yeah.
Yeah, I would bet that would burn your retinas.
Almost.
All right.
I think when we first had that, I did a live stream from my phone for that one. And,
oh, wow. Okay.
There we go. There's
all right.
The moon.
So just tweaking my settings.
Somebody's dropped some red dust on it.
Yeah, I'm just going to change the color of white balance to auto. That should hopefully fix it up in a minute. And let's change the exposure settings to be a bit shorter. Oh, why is it not going to the correct color balance?
Neil, my Huawei takes better photos than this.
Oh, yes, I'm sure it does, Mark. Congratulations. Would you like a prize?
No, I won't get one. Not mine.
All right, let's zoom in on the moon now that we've got it.
Oh, there we go. Some good detail. So
actually, it's looking a bit out of focus, I have to admit. Oh, wait, there we go. I'm still in my binning. That's right. There we go. Now we can turn up the exposure on that and see some real detail.
So what can we see at the moment on the moon?
Well, I'm an astrophotographer, and we hate the moon. So, I'm not familiar with the different features of the moon. I can name a couple of craters, but generally that's not my thing. But there's a crater. There's another crater. There's a bigger crater.
And an even bigger crater?
I mean, I say we hate the moon is only because it gets in the way of us taking photos of the really faint things in the sky, but the moon is beautiful.
See, this is where I should probably run off and get Steve Thurm, because he knows everything about the moon.
Yeah, go, bring him back.
Here we go. Jim, would you like to come around this way? Cut through, and I'm going to hand the microphone.
Come on, camera.
I'm going to hand the microphone to Jim Pollock, and Jim can describe what we're looking at.
You right? Okay, fine, good. This is the Sea of Crises, or if you want the Latin, Mare Crisium, mare being the Latin word for sea. It's very much like a basalt plain, the sort of basalt that you get out in the Western District. Again, I'm not an expert on the names of the various craters, but what is interesting, if you come back and look tomorrow night, the terminator, the boundary between the light part of the moon and the dark part of the moon, will have moved as the moon goes around in its orbit a little, and the shadows will be different, and we'll also see some new craters further down there. Obviously, these craters are younger than the basalt plain, because it would have had to have been there before the meteor whacked into the moon and made the craters. You'll notice in some of the craters you've got a central peak. And I don't know whether you've ever seen. Whoops. One there, one there, another one there, I think. But the moon, despite what the astrophotographers say, the moon is a fascinating object to look at.
I'm with you, Jim. It's fascinating.
I find it fascinating anyway. You'll notice how the picture keeps shimmering a bit. The atmosphere, if ever you've looked at along a bitumen road in midsummer, you will see the heat rising from it. That's exactly what we're seeing there. Even though the moon is quite high in the sky, we still get that view. It almost looks as though you're looking at the moon at the bottom of a swimming pool. Again, I apologise for not being able to say that's this crater or that's that crater. The moon, you might hear people say or talk about the dark side of the moon. There is no such thing as the dark side of the moon. The moon gets lit every time it orbits the Earth, and the backside of the moon, which we can't see, gets sunlight as well.
Pink Floyd has got a lot to answer for.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I think Pink Floyd might beg to differ.
The moon, because the moon's orbit is elliptical, sometimes it goes a bit faster, sometimes it goes a little more slowly, and instead of only being able to see half of the moon's surface, we actually see about 4/7 of it, because sometimes you'll get a better... Whoa.
Sorry, I have another view of the moon that shows a bit more.
Oh, Neil's jumping the gun on us here.
Right, okay. This is what the moon will look like in a couple of days' time.
That's upside down relative to what we've just been looking at. So the Sea of Crisis is down here.
That area there, and sort of that. This bit here is in darkness. That I do know the name of that crater. It's Copernicus. That one there is Eratosthenes. That is a range of mountains called the Apennines, after the Apennines in Italy.
And wasn't it somewhere around here that Apollo 12 landed?
I don't know where Apollo 12 landed.
Sorry, Apollo 11.
Or 11. I'm not sure whether it was... Yeah, that's Mare
Oops, sorry.
Imbrium there.
Oh, yes.
No one can see that because you're sharing it.
Sorry, folks. I just realised that we're sharing a screen that you can't see. So we'll have to go back to this.
There we are. Right, we're back to the moon live.
Because I shared my application window and not my desktop. I mean, the struggles of Zoom, we all know that now, right?
StreamYard.
Oh, yeah, similar.
But there you are. Okay, I think I've exhausted my moon knowledge.
Thank you very much, Jim. Thank you very much for doing that.
Notice how that edge there is very light. As I said, you've got the basalt plains there, and those are more upland regions, higher up and more rugged, more older than the basalt plains.
There we go. So I think we might, actually, I'm going to be cheeky. Do you think we could maybe float around to Mars?
Let's give Mars a go. Don't know if we'll be able to find it.
In the crowd just like, yeah!
It might be tricky to find because my telescope, as I said, is not perfectly aligned for tonight, but we'll give it a go and see.
We'll see how we go, guys. So we'll apologise if we can't find it. So bear with us for those of you watching at home. And as I said, I'm not sure, I'll have to check, but I'm not sure if all of the tickets for Monday night have sold out or booked out. But jump on our website, asv.org.au, and on the front page there should be a link to try booking to come down to Caulfield Reserve at Caulfield Racecourse on Monday night. Hopefully the weather's good. And you can join us for some live viewing as well.
All right, there we go. Found it. That wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. No, we want to go other way.
So Neil is working his way through to try and get Mars.
Yep, it's just struggling a little bit because I'm using the
guide scope now.
Using the guide camera. Yep, which is trying to auto expose for Mars, and it's making it slow down a little bit. But it's close enough now that I think we can go over to the main camera and that'll center it. Oh, maybe not quite. Let's just keep looking.
So we're just scanning the sky at the moment to try and find Mars.
Right, I will go back to the guide camera, and I'll turn off auto exposure.
It's very close.
It should be close enough, but where's the auto exposure? Oh, it's capturing, is it? No, it's not.
It is. No.
Turn off auto exposure. And we will increase the gain to offset that. Can probably go a bit brighter than that.
Thrills of astrophotography.
It is a hobby that takes a lot of patience, I can tell you.
And when you're doing live streaming of objects like this live on TV,
you have to be patient.
You do. It doesn't always work perfectly.
All right, let's see how we go now. Okay, again, I'm on my 4x spinning, so that might be part of the reason why. All right, it's not in the center of the frame, so I am going to try a spiral search.
Now, what is a spiral search?
It's basically telling the telescope to go around in circles that get bigger and bigger and bigger, and if what you're looking for appears in the screen, then you stop.
There you go.
Pretty basic.
Pretty basic it is, isn't it? Can't see it yet.
Oh, could have been, yeah.
Oh.
No, they're all too faint. Mars will be much brighter than those stars.
I got excited.
No. If you want to look through the telescope,
that might be it. Yep, that's it.
There we go. We have it. I didn't get excited. I did see it before.
Well, you did get excited, but with good reason.
With good reason, yes. So Neil is just centering his equipment on Mars.
Because when I zoom in, that means it'll be in the center of the frame. Turn off the crosshairs. Countdown. Dramatic drum roll. All right. Now, that looks garbage at the moment.
It does.
But we're going to fix that up.
Yep.
So we'll reset the histogram. We will turn down the gain, which is what's making all that noise.
What noise?
Actually, that's not Mars.
No. We got excited for no reason.
Yeah.
Yes, the very light table.
I don't think it's Mars. No, that's a star.
Sorry, guys, you jumped the gun on that one.
Oh, what's going on here with my mouse? It's not responding.
I'm not sure. No.
Lovely. Thank you for that.
No, okay.
I'll just ask the lady up
Yeah.
All right.
So bear with us. We're going to have to try and find Mars again. I mean, I can stand here, standing where I am, I can see it. But
no, that's not Mars, I don't think. Unless it was Mars and it's just really underwhelming, which I know it is in a telescope.
It could well be, actually.
Yeah.
I'd say you might be on it there, Neil.
It might be. I'll just do a quick spiral search and see if there's anything else bright that comes in. I would, but it's
I reckon you're on it.
It wasn't set up properly at the beginning of the night, so I haven't got my proper polar alignment. All right, that must be Mars. This is why I don't do planetary. Mars is boring.
it is pretty boring if you don't have the right equipment for it, isn't it?
Well, I've got wide field astrophotography equipment,
Yes.
so yeah, not good for planets.
Well, there you go. There's Mars.
So I'll
It's
turn
gonna
off the
swim you.
crosshairs and we'll zoom in again. Yeah, if anyone else here wants to take on the role of planetary astrophotography for live streaming, that would be great.
Nah, look, it's pretty exciting to be able to do this anyway. No matter whether it's absolutely outstanding or not.
Yeah, hello, Facebook.
I think,
Oh, I think I know what my problem was. I had my binning set to 4, which is a way of getting faster exposures but lower resolution.
there we go. That looks a bit more Mars.
A bit more planet-like. Am I still guiding? I am. That's just how far my alignment's off.
So there you go. There's Mars in all its glory.
In all its 8 pixels of glory.
Yeah,
I still don't think that's Mars.
it is because it's going behind a band of cloud right now, and that's what's happening to you.
Right, well,
Yeah. So, look,
Mars is boring.
Mars is boring. It is. It is. So, you know what? Can we finish with a bang? Can
What are
we
you
finish
after?
on Orion? Could you do that?
I can do that.
There we go. We're going to go to Orion Nebula, everybody.
This is my wheelhouse.
This is your jam.
All right, I'll need a minute to get
Yeah,
there.
so we might sing Kumbaya or something while we wait for it to move around. Now, Orion's been my target the last few nights in the backyard here.
Oh yes.
Yep, with the phone and with the 8-inch dock.
Yep.
And had some success. Nowhere near what your stuff looks like.
Well, I mean, everyone starts somewhere. My first photos were garbage,
Mine still are garbage, and they will be for a while.
but that's okay. You're learning and you're having fun doing it.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Now, I did also get to take an image of this through the 25-inch last weekend
Oh wow!
with my phone.
Even with the phone, that'd look impressive.
It was ridiculously impressive, yeah. To the point that I nearly fell off the ladder because I didn't believe that you could do something like that.
You didn't accidentally look at a picture in your camera roll that you took for, that you downloaded from NASA or something, did you?
No, not at all. It was quite stunning. I did share it on the AC Facebook page and our Instagram.
And I did
everyone
see
got
it.
to see it.
I did.
And it was pleasantly surprising that with such a, I'll call it a cheap phone, it's a $350 phone, and through the AC's equipment, that you can get images like that. Makes signing up worthwhile, I reckon.
I agree. All right. Now, I don't know exactly where we are because it's on the other side of the sky from where I was, which can mean that the alignment can be way off. So I'm going to do another spiral search from this point and see if we can see it, or if I can recognize any star patterns that would give me a clue as to if I'm in the right area.
I'll tell you what, it's the first time I've seen a live stream of a spiral search, and I feel like I'm in a nightclub. It does. It looks like just had like too many beers.
Well, I think you need to go to some more exciting nightclubs, Mark. I reckon I'm going to do it manually because I think that if you go towards where the brightest stars are in Orion, that probably won't do you too wrong.
It won't, will it?
Yep, that's definitely the belt. There's 3 of the belt stars there.
So we know where we are.
Well, we know roughly where we are.
Direction.
I just need to know which of those stars that we're looking at.
I reckon
What is that?
we are trying to find Orion Nebula.
All right, okay, it might be the other direction. Oh.
This is
You got a what? Sorry,
on the screen, right? Did
you got a guide scope?
I said I've got it on the guide scope
Oh, right.
on the screen at the moment, just while you search.
Oh, okay. Great. Less pressure on me to find it. Where am I? There I am.
Did you put your guide scope? Would that be better?
This is my guide scope that I'm looking through.
Looking through your guide scope. So
Yeah.
he's looking through his guide scope now. We've got one star. He's trying to work out if he knows what that one is.
I think we've got 3 belt stars, but it's hard to say which direction to go from them, if it's up or down. Yeah, I reckon it might be down.
So bear with us. I'm going to try and get this in. So we get this live.
Now, normally I would have this set up so it's all correctly aligned, and I use a technique called plate solving. And that lets me go to a target pretty much immediately and
without,
accurately.
without having to do what we're doing right now.
That's right, without hunting around. This is not how I normally do it.
I will concur.
Plate solving is magical.
when it works.
It is. It takes a while to set it up, but yeah, the results are incredibly time saving. Okay, that's definitely the other point.
Yeah,
Other one.
right.
So, is it south from here or north from here? Maybe a little further.
Might be a little bit further, yeah. Nearly there, I think.
The way I think.
Yeah, so not bad for
Can't get yours in StreamYard, can you?
Yeah, it is. But while we're waiting for this,
Alright.
put it up. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't tell us that.
He told me.
Oh, I didn't realise.
Right,
So we're
right.
actually looking at Orion now on StreamYard, are we? There we go.
All right, I'm going to have to do this the old-fashioned way
So,
and look down the bloody telescope.
all right. So while Neil does that, you guys at home, anyway, are all having a lovely view of Orion Nebula. So that's
Can you give me 5 minutes just while I get this line
a
first?
lovely tech.
Thank
man.
you.
Didn't let me know that he'd swapped him over.
I can't even see what I'm looking along here.
Well, there we go. So while Neil tries to get his going, this is a live stack of Lee's guide scope on Orion Nebula. So this is live from Caulfield Racecourse, everyone. We're in the middle field of Caulfield
I think I'm
Racecourse
good for
looking
now, but thank you very much for the
Orion
offer.
Nebula.
Okay,
There
I
is
think
some
I know
cloud
where I'm
rolling
pointing
in,
here.
which is always frustrating. I'm going to go back over to Neil and see how he's going. How you going, Neil?
Getting there.
Getting there?
Give me a couple more minutes.
It's all right. We've got a lovely live view of a guidescope version of it at the moment that everyone's looking at, but it won't be as good as what we get from your one. So Neil is down on his knees, praying to his telescope at the moment, staring up at the sky.
I'm praying to the astronomy gods.
The astronomy gods,
and
yes.
goddesses.
It's very close. I think I might have pushed the limits, hey? Definitely not too far off it. I'll tell you if I see it now.
Yep.
I'll probably jump for joy and scream into the microphone.
It should be close.
Deafen everybody at home.
There it is.
Oh, there we go. Okay, Lee. I'll go back to Lee.
Give me a minute and I'll have it centered.
Yeah, so Lee, if you can go back to Neil's screen for us. And we're going to do a live stack on Neil's
This
equipment.
will be worth the wait, folks.
Which, I'm sorry, Lee, it shits all over your guide scope.
Where are you centering it on?
That faint fuzzy object you can see just coming into field now. Other way. It's always the other way.
So here we go. Neil is going to
All right.
start. Are you going to start stacking, Neil, or can you that,
I'll
or
do
you
some
just
live
gonna-
stacking, yes.
Yeah. So I'll let you talk your way through it. How long your subs are and all the usual geeky astrophotography stuff that I'm still learning.
Which I love. All right, so we now have M42, the Great Orion Nebula centered. This is in the guide camera. So I'm going to swap over to the imaging camera now. And of course, it's just out of the frame. So we'll do a spiral search. But oh, that was a satellite just passing through there. I don't know if you saw that. There it was.
I'm going to go and watch it on replay when I get home so I can see that.
There we go. Quite impressive little thing, isn't it?
What's that?
That is a gas cloud, a cloud of gas and dust called a nebula. And it is 1,600 light years away. And it is full of hydrogen, oxygen, a bit of sulfur, So what I'm doing now is I'm taking a series of 15-second exposures. I'm just going to do a test 15-second exposure to start with so we can see what we've got. And then I'm going to start what's called a live stack. Okay. Because I wasn't able to get my telescope properly aligned at the beginning of the night, that means the tracking is not perfect. So we can see the stars are little streaks. So I'm going to have to settle for less than 15 seconds. We'll try 2-second exposures, and that will hopefully keep the trails short enough. Usually I will have the telescope properly aligned, and it will track the stars so that they won't leave trails from that movement. So now that we've got that, I'll go to live stack. And what this will do is it'll continue to take photo after photo after photo, and it will add them up together over time and average out the noise, the grain, and add up the signal.
So how long were your exposures taking?
At the moment, I'm doing... How long am I doing?
2 seconds.
2 seconds, yeah.
Ooh.
That's just the settings that I had on most previously. There we go. Most
Look
recent.
at that.
So this is only from a total of 28 seconds of exposure so far. The longer we go, the more contrast we will get and the less grain and noise there will be, and we can make it pop out a little bit more from the background. Not quite that much. So what I'm doing here is just some live adjustments to the exposure settings of the preview image to try and make it look its best from what little data I've managed to collect so far. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now we want to adjust the white balance a little bit. I have to make the image small so I can get to the settings here. So this is the white balance adjustments. No, that's too blue.
So this is so far 62 seconds. It's a 1 minute exposure.
Oh, there we go. That had it there. There we are. That's the right color that we're looking at. All right, let's tweak this a little bit further because I reckon we can get that background a bit darker. Yep, that's starting to look good. Yeah, here we go.
Award-winning photo taken from the centre of Caulfield Racecourse.
The only award it'll win is, I don't know,
I tell you what, that's pretty darn impressive.
the best outreach photography.
Yeah. Public outreach astrophotography live.
So what you've seen
Very
here
impressive.
is only how long?
2 minutes nearly, I think, by the looks of it. 100
Yeah,
seconds.
100 seconds of exposure so far. This object is a very, very bright object. So just to help you find where we're looking, are you all familiar with the saucepan? You might be a bit blinded from looking at my screen, but if you look at the saucepan, you've got the 3 handles on the bottom of the saucepan, then up and to the right a bit, you've got the handle of the saucepan. It looks like the handle is 3 stars.
It's not.
Well, what you're seeing here is 1, 2,
3
3 stars.
The middle
one is not a star, it's this nebula.
But it looks like a star to us.
It does, because their eyes are crap.
They are, yeah. They're not very good at all.
If you want to see this better, just get yourself a pair of binoculars, and that's it. The gentleman over here's got a pair of binoculars. Can you tell us, does it look better through binoculars than it does to the naked eye? Can you see it through the binoculars? There's a very faint fuzzy patch.
It should be it. Yeah, there
So
we
you
go.
can see it as a fuzzy patch rather than just as another star, another dot. But through a telescope with 2.5 minutes of exposure, it looks like this.
And it just keeps getting better and better and better.
Usually, though, I take exposures of this over 4 to 6 hours.
And you end up with the one.
I can show the crowd here a previous photo that I've taken, but I can't. I'll have to stop my share and do it again. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen here for the moment.
And then we'll bring it back.
And what I'll do is I'll actually share my whole desktop.
Oh, look, there's us.
Yeah, that's us. Hello. Okay, I'll share my entire screen.
Neol and the Blue Meanie.
So we'll go over to my astrophotography, and
Don't go to the other folder.
there it is. That is the same
Leave that up for a
as
second. Let me. You are sharing now,
this,
aren't you?
but it's rotated 90 degrees. Also, the colors are a little different because this camera it requires some processing of the information that you get from it to bring out the colors to be more accurate. If you look at it here, in fact, I can zoom in on this. Let's go to 100%.
Look at that.
If you look here, you can see this is a more bluish color than this. But the overall color balance here is too pink. Once I fix it up,
It
will look like this.
Yep.
So there's that blue area there versus the pink. So
Like a butterfly upside down when you look at it.
one of the first questions people often ask me is it really that color? In this case, yes, it is, because the color comes from, the pink is from hydrogen gas that has been energized by the energy from the nearby stars to the point where it actually absorbs the energy from those stars and then re-emits it by glowing like a fluorescent light. And the energy that it re-emits, emits it at that particular frequency, the color of the pink, that wavelength. The blue, however, that is a different kind of light. It's not glowing, it's reflecting. So the stars in the area are blue, and it is reflecting the color of those blue stars. So you're looking at two different colors representing two different processes here.
And what's that lumpy bit on the
Up here,
yeah?
that is just dark gas and nebula. It's exactly the same material as all of this, but it's closer to us than that stuff behind it. And so it's blocking the light rather than glowing or reflecting.
What's the yellowy brown stuff?
That is the same material again, but it's where it's being dimly lit by nearby stars. It's not bright enough to really have color reflecting. It just sort of reflects the intensity of the light.
All right. Thank you very much, Neil.
An absolute pleasure. Let me just finish up. We'll go back to
that screen.
the
Let's have
live
another
view.
quick peek before we close it up. And we thank all of our viewers for watching. So
We'll just
how are we
pan
going?
around just quickly.
Just shy of 5 minutes.
So yeah, this is what you can get with equipment under $5,000 and 2 or 3 years of practice and 5 minutes exposure. So this is all in the realm of amateur
And
astrophotography.
add to the fact that we're in metropolitan Melbourne. Too.
Yeah, we're doing this
not
from
with
light polluted skies with
yeah.
no filters.
No filters. We're not out in the bush. So it shows what can be done.
What sort of telescope? What's the telescope?
The telescope I'm working with here is an 8-inch f4 Newtonian reflecting telescope,
It's this one just here.
and it's on an EQ6 equatorial mount.
Whoa.
Brad name, or did you?
No, I think it might be Skywatcher, but these telescopes are pretty much all the same. The design is universal.
I'll please ask you, will this be on YouTube?
Yes, it will be on YouTube, yes.
So what do I look
If you search Astronomical Society Victoria on YouTube, you'll find this video and other videos that we've done as well. So, for those of you watching at home, I'll just step over there.
Thanks, Mark.
That's all right. Thank you, Neil. Thank
Have
you
a good
very
night.
much for sharing that. For those of you watching at home, I thank you for joining us.
Nightmare
And,
moving these
leave
and
switch
setting
this off
them up.
and,
It is, but I've done it so many times I'm used to it.
haven't bought a ticket
Outreach is
yet
a passion of mine.
for Monday night. If there are still any left, go and grab them while you can. And thank you very much for watching.